Welcome everyone. I am Pease Delariz. Brought in, of course, with the most awkward of counts as the Eagle of Master Control with no sound check.
He always does it.
And with the weirdest count ever. He is, of course, our technical director. And if you'd like to tweet the show live, you can tweet him at Eagle FPF. I am your host for Calling the Audible, the official Division 3 podcast for Flag Plus Football's Division 3. I'm your host, Pease Delariz. I'm dressed in a kimono because I lost in Table of Terror because of a Division 3 team.
But you're wearing something underneath, so it's cheating.
Because I didn't have the belt, so...
Yeah, okay, I don't have the belt.
I didn't.
Who would have cared?
Most people.
Nobody.
Most people. I care about Wolfpack. They lost to West Park Boys, which we'll touch on later. I'm joined by my co-host Simon Dagenet. You can follow him at Simon Dagenet.
Dagenet
every week.
Company man.
At Dagenet FPF, he is company man. And our producer for today is the inimitable Vince Nardone. How's it going, Vince?
I'm doing good.
Where can people find you?
People can't find me.
Can't be found. He's next file.
I don't know what my Twitter is. Eagle knows it.
It's at Vince Nardone. Clearly, Vince checks his own account.
So don't tweet him.
Gentlemen, Nick Cage thought that the caves couldn't change us. Nothing would change us. I disagree. Change your image with new jerseys from Sportira. We, of course, are in the Sportira cage, official supplier of FPF jerseys.
It's not as good as last week's.
Nothing will be as good as last week.
You have to step it up. That was great.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, how was your week?
Depends. My week was good, but fuck this guy.
Fair. Fair.
I had a great week. Last night I got to play 3 games. Went 3-0.
Yeah, we hear you, Vince.
Also went 3-0 this week.
We
pretty good.
destroyed the Snatchers.
You injured one of my players, and we were only 6. So we got one guy limping around.
Nice guy.
But, to be fair, they were nice enough not to throw his way on defense because we have a guy that's limping around and didn't throw any passes away, so that was good. Got to give a shout out.
We were very fair about everything that happened. Your guy shows up like 7 minutes late. We're just standing there waiting. I'm looking at Steve. I'm like, are we going to get 6 points? Or he's just like, for what?
Because we got 5. We're about to start. We call it timeout.
Then they call it timeout, and it's like a 40-minute timeout. Is this a joke?
That's the longest timeout ever.
And then they end up in a huddle, and then that huddle ends up being another 4 or 5 minutes. It's just like, all right.
So much complaining.
That's pretty good. It's you that long to call all hooks.
So much. Exactly what happened.
I'm actually excited about this coming week before we get into last week because this coming week features the first ever finals in FPF Junior. So for those of you who haven't been paying attention, we're going to actually be posting this game sort of like a hybrid roadshow / game of the week style. So it's going to be posted soon thereafter. It'll be exciting. For those who haven't actually seen it, if you have kids, it's a great exposure to them for flag football.
Who are the coaches again?
I'm actually coaching one of the teams playing this week, the Hurricanes with Patrice Lindor. We're playing against Dave Allen's Longhorns team. And I believe...
Is Teddy Fournette also?
Teddy Fournette and Jamil Springer are the coaches in the junior division of the 2 final teams. So it's pretty fun. It's been an amazing experience for me. You get to see the game from a completely different way when you're working with kids.
It's exciting. It's
cool.
It's fun to watch. The game is fun to watch, even if it's just because it's interesting to watch them play. And it's like FPF.
But smaller.
I was about to say, but junior.
But the thing is, like, it's honestly cool. Like, I go back home every week, and my girlfriend actually told me, she said, you know what, I don't even know what's happening with any of your teams, but all you keep talking about is FPF Juniors. It's been that exciting. It's been that fun.
You're nuts. You talk to your own hand.
Yeah, I do.
She talks back.
Right? She does.
Awesome.
I made sure she never talked back again. West Park Boys faced Wolfpack. West Park Boys took this one 37-23. Simo, you were at this game. You were texting me immediately after it was over.
Yep.
I was very surprised by this, but Wolfpack were missing some key players.
Oh, yeah. Well, West Park Boys showed up with Leon Older with a lot more chemistry than
That's not the thing I said. The setup was West Park Boys.
Yeah, but I don't care about your setup. It was
missing
horrible.
key players.
Okay.
Talk about the key players, Simo.
Wolfpack was missing their best 2 weapons on
Which
offense
are?
and defense, which is JD Chevalier and
Thank
Francis
you.
Lapointe.
There we go.
There you go, peas.
I appreciate that.
But anyhow, West Park outplayed them. Pascal Murray was not looking like himself.
Well, 5 interceptions is not a way to win a game.
Well, but it's not him. Like he's good enough that. Second half was good, but first half he looked lost.
Yeah. Leon Holder did bring in Mike Smith, a guy he's played with in the past in the Raiders teams. He caught 3 touchdowns in this game. Is the roster consistency for West Park holding them back, or like actually holding back, or is it a blessing in disguise where they can bring a guy in like Mike Smith because some other cap hits are not there, like Amit Paul not there this week?
Well, what happened is like you have a new quarterback, right? It's a higher division. You can't just bring in a random dude and win games. You need chemistry, and this is what Mike Smith brought to Leon Older is familiarity. He looks around and like when you get to the red zone, I don't know how this guy runs slants, but I know how this guy does, so I'll hit him, and it works. That's basically what happened. But he still has great weapons. Wesley Joseph played an amazing game on defense. He made Pascal Murray look like, wow, not himself.
Yeah.
And
Pascal Murray had been super efficient going into this game.
yeah, West Park outplayed Wolfpack. And it's not about just missing key players. It's really West Park played great.
Yeah, but that's the thing too is when we say that they're missing players, we don't want to diminish the accomplishment because Wolfpack are still Division 2 team moving down to Division 3, where West Park is a team where we thought didn't even belong in Division 3. So absolutely kudos to them for winning this game. Good to see them competitive last week and winning this week. Nothing but positive things heading into the rest of the season. Ballbusters beat Dirty Dogs 27-20.
Oh, that was close, man.
Yeah, you can tell.
No, but like it was closer than it came down to Dirty Dogs at the ball, red zone. They were down by 7. I believe it was the last position in the game or close to. And Brian Callender made a great pick. Wow.
Really?
Lelanowski underestimated Brent. Like he was in front of the end zone. He lobbed it back at the end zone. Brent made a few steps, jumped, caught the football in the red zone. Interception, gave his offense back the ball, and they just finished the game.
You figure pick on the short guy, right?
Exactly. No, honestly. He threw it back at the end zone to, I think it was Dave Jatayat, and Brent made a great play.
I don't think Ryan thinks that way. Pick on a small guy.
That's fair.
Being a small guy himself.
We're making fun of Brent here.
He had 2 picks in his game. I mean,
No, he played.
He had a good game.
His first pick was not fabulous, but his second one was great.
Dirty Dogs scored over 50 points in each of their first 3 games. Since then, they've scored less and less each subsequent week. To what do you attribute this drop in production?
not in their first 3 games.
First 2 games.
Not in their first 2.
Well,
Yeah, they
one
scored
game
50
did
the
it.
first 2.
Yeah, but one game they had Sammy Fido throwing for them, which is not the same quarterback, so that kind of
Ryan
changes.
was throwing, first game they had 18 points. 18.
Okay, so sorry, 2 of the first 3 games. My mistake. I
But
misread.
it's their,
Actually,
it's their
misread the
second 2 because
Yeah.
Ryan wasn't throwing.
But then he was throwing the 3rd week, was he not?
Did you
So
do any prep
Ryan
whatsoever?
was not throwing in the 3rd week. It's when Sammy came in and just fed Chidiat with 132 yards and 6 touchdowns.
Okay.
So
But
in
I
that
thought
second
Fido only
game,
played 1 game with them.
yeah, that 3rd game.
So
So
the second game,
only
though.
once they had success with Ryan at quarterback and had 52 points.
So you're saying that that's it, though? Like that's the,
I'm
happened
saying,
once.
I'm
the
saying
limit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm saying that it happened once. It might have been a fluke. It might have been because they were playing game changers. I don't know. I've seen Ryan play as a quarterback. You literally don't have to respect his arm. Just contain him. Contain him and just force him to throw the ball quickly. What he loves to do is just run around like a Vinny Galano, Dan, I forget his name, style
Dan Taylor?
quarterback. Just run, like
then
Nathan
find
Taylor.
somebody.
Like Nathan Taylor in his first season as a quarterback. They're so fast and shifty that you can't deflag them, but they're going to keep going backwards, and the defense can't hold
it's
up.
the kind of guy who stares on the rush and needs to beat the rush before they can make a
exactly,
read.
exactly. It's true.
Absolutely. Ballbusters are the only undefeated team. What are they doing that allows them this level of success at this point in the season?
It's the team itself is well built, where they don't need one guy to step up every week. Like every week, somebody else. This week, Brent Callender stepped up. The game won. It doesn't rely on. They don't rely on Dylan Taylor to always be fantastic to win football games, and this is why they're undefeated. It's because the way the team is built, they have so much depth that any given week somebody steps up for them, and they win games. It's not just like we need our quarterback to throw 6 touchdowns per week or we're gonna lose. Like Dylan is not perfect, and he's never gonna be. But when he's on, he's winning games by himself. When he's off, he needs his team behind him, and he has a team for that.
Will that work in the playoffs, or will they not score enough points?
It depends. If they can go into the playoffs with momentum and Dylan throws 6 touchdowns per game, they're going to win regardless who
So
they
you
face.
just said that they don't need to score 6 touchdowns a game.
Right now,
They're
but
like
in the playoffs,
So you're saying in the playoffs they'll
in
need
the
to?
playoffs,
Okay.
if you throw 4 touchdowns and 2 picks and you give the other team like 8 possessions and they only have to put up like more than 25 points, I don't like your chances.
That's
in
fair.
the playoffs.
Well, they're averaging right now after 6 games 33 points for. I feel like we can agree if you can put up more than 30 points a game, you should be able to win the game.
Yeah.
And the key thing for them is defense at this point. And with a rush like Adams, you're set up for success.
That's fair. That's fair. FOE took on Meta Mayhem, and FOE won this game 26-25.
Oh, what a game, man.
Simo, describe the heartbreaking ending of this game.
So FOE, the game started at 19. FOE has the ball, probably their last possession of the game. I would say I was not scorekeeping. I was watching from afar, but I would say it was about like a minute left, maybe 5 plays. I apologize if I don't get like the exact thing how it went down. But FOE was in the red zone. Lubin got the touchdown, went for 1 point, got it. So it's 26-19. There's not very plays left. On the last play of the game, all the whack goes for a 40 bomb, connects. Now it's 26-25. So like you have 1 play left, you get it. You're down by 1 point, you go for the convert, and you do not get it. It's tough. Like you have so much hope from getting the touchdown. Like you're so hyped up, saying like, "Oh, we can actually win this. We can actually pull it off," and you cannot get the convert. It's heartbreaking.
Is Meta Mayhem done?
Yes. At 1-5, they need to win. They need to win out to make the playoffs. And the way they've been playing, they're not going to win out.
Does it surprise you that they've been playing this way?
Yes, definitely. I was expecting them to be above 500 with the core they have, which is the same as last winter, where they made a deep run into the playoffs. They have the very similar core, if not the same, and they're 1-5.
I say even a better roster, to be honest. The couple key additions. Last time Kevin Lubin threw in Division 3, he was not great, and the Golden Eagles went 1-9. What's different this time around with FOE?
Better surrounding cast.
So it's distinctly like the roster you think it is.
Yeah, the roster fits Kevin Lubin's ability more. He doesn't have to go in hero mode. He doesn't have to make deep throws. He just needs to hit guys underneath, make the right read, hit the guy underneath, let him run, and they win games. And it's what he does best.
Absolutely. Dark Moose returns 1 against Jumpman, 36-31, and somewhat of a controversial ending. Let me set the context for you guys. So with a couple plays late, ball's thrown from Emilio Cecere to Joseph Cecere. He catches it. David Del Rocca misses a flag. He goes to the ground. Justin Blanchard touches him. Cecere gets up, runs in. One referee calls a touchdown. The other referee calls basically down by contact or just down. There's no real contact in FPF. But essentially the famous down by contact rule for thinking, let's say, tackle, the tackle equivalent. After discussion, referees decide he's down at about the 5. Emilio Cecere goes back, throws the ball to the end zone with 2 plays left. It gets intercepted by Eric Contain to end the game. Your reactions to the controversial ending?
Well, listen, it's part of the game, right? Calls could go both ways. You should not rely on it.
That literally could have gone, because it was one official calling one thing.
It could have gone both ways.
Could have easily gone 50-50.
The way Moose
You were there. What did you see?
I saw exactly that. I saw the player down and being touched by Justin, and literally the defense stopped. The defense stopped moving, which is dumb. You shouldn't do that.
You play up to the whistle.
Especially when you see a guy get up, because there was no whistle. So I understand absolutely Jumpman's frustration. It was the right call. It just look. No one's perfect. It was the last game of the night, so they didn't blow it. It was.
Oh no, we had a
game
game after.
You're right.
But anyhow,
but either way, I'm saying like that kind of. It's a quick play. It's something that's 50-50. So there was no whistle, but I think it was the right call. So I can understand either way that you make that call, one team's going to be very frustrated.
To me, it doesn't really matter because Moose was up by like 23 points at some point.
24-0 within the first 10 minutes of the game.
Mugset was on fire. He was connecting on, I would say, every throw. He was making that defense look dumb.
And on the other side, Eric Contain, Marc-Andre Lapointe, and Justin Blanchard had interceptions in the first 10 minutes of the game.
It looked like a major blowout. And then Jumpman adjusted.
Well, what did they do to adjust, Simon? Since you were there?
The way I saw it was Moose's playbook did not change. They kept running the same plays over and over again. That was successful in the first half. Well, in the first few drives. And then Jumpman picked up on it, switched their defense around, and next thing you knew, guys were running the same routes, but they were jumping routes, and then it got picked off or they couldn't connect, and Jumpman adjusted, whereas Moose offense did not.
Fair. Would you have expected Dark Moose returns to have a defense that has kept them competitive while the offense struggled like they have so far this season? Given what you saw heading into the season and from last spring.
Well, I was expecting this defense to be astonishing. It's not fantastic. It's good, but it's not fantastic. Whereas I was expecting this offense to be much better than it is. Fred Morissette doesn't blow out teams.
Yeah, it's not the style.
But he wins games. And you guys are not. You guys drop some games you should never have dropped. Your defense keeps you under 30 points. your offense should the kind of offense you guys have, which is perfect for him, should be putting at least 35 every week, or at least 30 points every single week, and you are not. So listen,
It's true. Three times this season,
to me,
they've been held
the
under
offense,
20.
The offense is the problem. Is the what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for? Disappointment. Whereas the defense is up to par.
You
or
figure
even better.
you would know the word disappointment because you've heard it from your family. Vince, you've played Dark Moose Returns. I'm trying to say I had this discussion obviously because it's my own team. So Vince, you've played Dark Moose Returns.
Yeah.
What like having seen the roster and then having played them?
Yeah.
Do you think it's up to par? Do you think that and you won that game obviously? So like what are your reactions to expectations versus reality?
Well, I don't set expectations prior to a season, so I base it on what I see week one, and then but not evolution, but like whatever you do to build on off that week one. So if you don't get better, then you're not a good team, and if you stagnate and you stay the same, you're an average team, and if you get worse, then you don't really belong in the division. Is how I look at things.
That's fair.
But I don't set any expectations. But when I played you guys, what I quickly realized is how obvious your offense was.
Oh yeah. There's 4 plays.
Not only that, it's just 4 plays. It's like playing against you yesterday. You don't know where he's throwing the ball because he's not looking to where he's throwing. So it's harder to play defense. When you play against Fred Morissette, and even if I say it out loud, he won't be able to change it because he's just not used to doing it in any other way. He stares down where he's going, and not necessarily where the guy is or the guy he wants to throw to, but the spot that he's looking for. So he's not making a read off defenders. He's just looking whether that window's getting opened or not, and he's not looking at who's coming from where. Easier to play defense against him.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I'm going to play defense against Vince and prevent him from speaking more as we head into break. When we get back, we're going to look at some of the teams that are around 500, as well as perhaps one of the most difficult to decipher conferences in all of FPL.
Bam.
Welcome everyone, Peas Delaries. This is Calling the Audible. I am joined by my co-host Simon Dagenet and our producer for the week, Vince Nardone. Our incompetent technical director is the Eagle of Master Control. If you tweet him, you might not get on the show because, of course, of the incompetence, but you can tweet him at EagleFPF.
He's also not very good at math.
He's not. I am good at math. And I can tell you these teams are exactly 500 because they are 3-3. We have OTF and Game Changers. OTF will face Nuggets, BD Bandits, Laval's Finest, and West Park Boys. Will they rise to the occasion, or will they just sort of fade into the distant memories of Division 3?
Debate rise to the occasion.
Yeah.
What do you like?
Will they
what's the
see
standard
success upon the horizon and make the playoffs?
Okay, so the rise to the occasion makes the playoffs. Yes,
Shouldn't be artistic.
They're facing tough defenses, but they also have a good defense. Like OTF have a very good defense. I believe that they're gonna rise. They're gonna win. They're gonna finish 5-5. They're gonna win 2 out of these 4, make the playoffs with decent seeding, and then it's gonna go from there. As how did they finish the season? What did they learn in the last 4? And can they win in the playoffs?
Fair. Game Changers. Does 3-3 surprise you?
No.
Because? It's amazing because I say it every time. I always ask because, and you're always surprised when I ask you.
I was not expecting Game Changers to be 6-0 at this point. They won big. They lost big. It's been ever since they went 14-0. It's kind of been what they've been doing. Like,
any actual analysis at all about this current season?
No.
Or no.
Cool.
So they're not. You don't expect them to be 6-0. They went 14-0 in the past. Anything from this season?
Shut up.
Cool.
No, I watched Antansakis play that night. They won 38 to 18 or something. I don't remember who it was against. He was on fire. He was connecting, making some great throws. And then the next week, he looked off. And that's how I feel about Game Changers. It's like a roller coaster. Sometimes when they're on, they're fantastic. And sometimes they just look like...
I'm going to touch on something we mentioned last week. It's the weakest Game Changers roster so far. Missing Terrence Lawson, Justin Filto, Paul Santash, those were the three big names from the core roster. It would have been nice to add their new pieces to the core roster that they had. Instead, they've just replaced them with guys that Sakis is less comfortable with. That's what it seems like to me. So there's some weeks that they look great, some weeks they don't look they don't look the part, and I think 3-3 is the record that it completely describes their season so far.
But it's good. Like it's not bad.
No,
At 3-3, you're in a good position to make the playoffs, and you put it just in your own hands. I like the 3-3. I like where they are right now.
The problem with their 3-3 is that they're 1-3 in their divisional record.
Yeah, that doesn't help them moving
That's
forward.
rough.
That kind of
They face Dark Mist Returns, Jumpmans, 2.5 Dans, Mongoose. Are they destined to go 500, or do you think they'll improve or be worse than that the rest of the way out?
They'll be 500. They're gonna, because I could see them get 3 out of the 4 wins. I will see them. I could see them lose to Moose and win the other 3, but somehow they're gonna manage to drop 1 of the 3 and finish 2-2.
Yeah, Jumpman's a tough game for them. Athletically speaking, I mean, there's a lot of talent on Jumpman, and that's the problem with Game Changers is their defense. I mean, they have 6 turnovers in 6 games. That's just not enough.
Yeah,
That doesn't cut it.
that's fair. That's fair. Let's look at some of the 2 and 4 teams. Mongoose, they're going to be taking on Meta Mayhem, who are a team that are a little battered right now. Their ego a little bit beaten. They take on Meta Mayhem, FOE, Lassos, Game Changers. They've lost the last 2. Is there an inability to evolve for Mongoose?
Yes. Listen,
Because
we never. Wow, I was about to say it, man. We never expect Mongoose to blow out teams and like destroy the competition. They've always been the kind of team that's always under the radar and does their own thing. But the way that's the season has planned out, they could really win big in the last 4 games. I believe Mongoose could go 4-0, win out, make the playoffs as like a mid-tier seed, and then from there use the momentum they've built in the last 4 wins to make a good playoff push, the way they've been doing in the past forever. But it really comes down to them, because they have the schedule to do it, but will they?
It comes down to some
Bump.
quarterbacking as well from Alex Godet. He wasn't even there last week, and the guy who came in, Deshine,
someone to shine, yeah.
didn't look very good throwing the ball in this division. He's a much better Div 4 quarterback, but had a hard
Well,
time.
Simon
in Division 3.
Deshane's a guy who's really come from the bottom, Division 5 when
Yeah.
it was the lowest
Yeah.
division,
Yeah.
into Division 4 now. Division we all know the jump from Div 4 to Div 3
But he's
is
struggling right
one
now
of the
in
biggest
4A.
jumps in FPF.
He's struggling right now in
Yeah.
4A, and then you're asking him to throw in 3 against
yeah.
much tougher defenses.
With a roster that's not top tier.
The way I see it is like he plays with Cedric Knuckle in 4A. He asked him to like
Moose
they
Knuckle.
needed somebody. They asked him, and it was not up to par.
The mans who jump. They started 2-0 and have since lost 4 straight. They're set to face Snatchers, Game Changers, Wolfpack, and FOE. How do you guys see it shaking out for them?
I see they're going to be the team on the crisp that will fall out of the playoffs. The 4 and 6 seed, the 9th seed that doesn't make the playoffs. It's I don't remember exactly how many teams make the playoffs, but they're going
Nice.
to be they're going to be well, I think it's 16 out of 28, but I'm
Yeah.
not.
It is, Simon. You're good.
They're going to be the 9th seed. They're going to be 4 and 6, and they're just going to be out of the playoffs. And it's going to be heartbreaking because like I'm on their bandwagon, but they should have beat Moose.
Fair. If we look at Conference A East, we see this division's super top heavy. But at what point does it begin to cannibalize itself? As we see the Brotherhood 5-1, Killer Instinct 5-1, Triple Sixers 4-2, Sea Assassins 4-2, BD Bandits 4-2 at the 5 slot, and then Le Bade and Lassos struggling at 1-5 and 0-6 respectively. So at one point do we see start to cannibalize itself and one team emerge from the pack? And secondly, how do you guys see this division shaking out
Well,
by the end of the season?
as of right now, it's going to start to cannibalize. Everybody's going to have to play everybody. That's how the schedule is. The last 4 weeks, it's divisional games. They're all going to
That's
play.
a fair description of cannibalism.
Thank you. They're all going to play each other, and one team's going to emerge. I believe it's going to be Brotherhood. And you would see teams like Sea Assassins, who are 4-2 now, where it's just a really good record, sort of kind of fall out and on the lower kind of seed. They're going to be like the 8th seed just because they're going to have to fight tougher teams, if I could say it that way. And it sucks for teams that have a great record right now. They're going to finish on a down low, but as long as you make the playoffs, records do not matter.
Well, the biggest game of the week is biggest game of the year. For Conference A, the biggest game of the season is this week, where you got Killer Instinct facing off against the Brotherhood. So this is going to be the tiebreaker for the top of Conference A.
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah. So because I don't see them losing to any other teams that they're playing this year, but this week is the important one for the tiebreaker for head-to-head at the end of the year. Looking forward to seeing that game.
And the thing is, when you look at Brotherhood, Killer Instinct, Triple Sixers, they're teams that don't necessarily have a glaring weakness, whereas Sea Assassin's defense, I've said it before, it's a Div 3 offense with a Div 5 B defense.
Well, I feel
and BD Bandits have an inconsistent offense with a stellar defense.
I feel like Brotherhood and Killer Instinct for Tio and Nathan, this is going to be the real challenge for them. Like, can they face a top tier defense in the conference and still excel? Like, can they do it? This is going to be the game where, because Killer Instinct played La Sauce last week, and Nathan only put up 20 points, which in my opinion is not enough in Div 3. So now, as he faces Brotherhood, can he put up 30? Can either of these quarterbacks put up 30 against a stellar defense? That's a real test for me. It's not much about the tiebreaker because they're both going to make the playoffs, but can they? If they win big, it's good. It will look good for them in the playoffs.
I'm tired of hearing you say nothing. So with that, Vince, bring up the game so we can make our picks of the week. So we'll stall. How you doing?
You stalled way too fast. You should have let me ramble on a little bit more.
Please, feel free.
Well, it's too late now. You cut me off.
Yeah, we're having some technical difficulties. I'm inclined to agree with you guys. I think Conference A East will sort of work out that way. And it's weird because looking at it heading in, I thought Triple Sixers would have had the upper hand. Instead, I feel really it's absolutely
all right,
between.
so game of the week.
Game of the week!
I don't know if you were saying something important, but nobody cares.
Game of the week.
Game of the week, game one. You got Led by Days against FOE. Led by Days are favored by 9.5 points.
There's no favorites, so you can just pick them straight.
Perfect.
Because nobody cares about the spread.
Because we'll never revisit them.
FOE, Led by Days are just not up to par.
Yeah, I agree. FOE's a much stronger team. And that defense is going to pick apart Sumo Valley.
The rusher's going to make
game number two, the biggest game of the season. Killer Instinct
sure?
against
the
Brotherhood.
Really? We didn't. I have Brotherhood here.
Killer Instinct. I was really impressed by them last week.
I was not, so Brotherhood.
Dark Moose returns against Game Changers.
Dark Moose by 50.
He's been saying it all
I say it every week, so.
Very doubtful.
Moose by more than one score, like 9 points.
You should find out who's missing for that game.
Give me
first.
Game Changers, please. Thank you.
You're gonna find players. You always do.
OTF against Nuggets.
OTF by 2 scores.
Yeah.
Mercenaries against Ballbusters.
Mercenaries have been up and down each week, so it's hard to make the
They
pick.
put up 41 last week.
Yeah, but they won this week.
They looked good.
Ballbusters for all the things you talked about when you did your breakdown of Ballbusters before. I agree.
Good. Yeah.
Grip and rip
saying
past our prime.
Grip and rip. Yeah, they're just gonna pick past our prime apart.
Yeah, grip and rip.
West Park Boys with Leon Holder against Dirty Dogs.
West Park Boys. I'm doing it. I'm doing West Park Boys.
Yeah,
I like it. I like the move with Leon.
They're a really good team with a quarterback.
But Dirty Dogs have a great defense, though.
Laval's finest against Predators.
Laval's finest, because Predators has no defense.
I agree. I think it's a bad matchup.
BD Bandits, Triple Sixers.
BD Bandits, Triple Sixers have been beating themselves this season. I don't see why this game won't go that way as well.
Receiver of the year and Patrick Jerome is going to light it up.
Disagree?
Mongoose, Meta Mayhem.
Mongoose needs to win this. So, like, if they drop this game, they might drop out of the playoffs. Whereas Meta Mayhem, they're pretty much out already. So it comes down to, like, Mongoose needs to win this. So
I think Meta Mayhem, they have too much talent to just keep losing. They're going to win a game here or there. This is one of the ones they can win.
Meta Mayhem has had a rough schedule. If you
Yeah,
take a look at their
brutal.
schedule. Lassos against Sea Assassins. Did they steal my team name?
Lassos.
Lassos?
What?
Forget.
No, they've been called Lassos for a long time.
Top Sauce is like 2008.
Yeah, but nobody
It's
knew
competing
about
sauces,
it back then.
Vince.
No, but Lassos still doesn't have a quarterback. Corey is not a quarterback.
Corey Kennedy.
Yeah, he's not a quarterback. He's a receiver. He's playing quarterback because they just don't have anybody. They're playing with a safety that cannot even raise his right arm.
Whoa.
He's missing tackles because he can't go for the ball. So, honestly, Lassos, you're a joke. They're losing.
Agreed.
Yeah.
They're my teammates. It's fine.
Les Udis against Wolfpack.
It's a good game.
It'll be a good game. It'll be closer than a lot of people will think, and I choose Wolfpack to come off that big loss. and
Hopefully the
win.
Wolves can show
It's
up.
not going to be close. Pascal Murray will be angry and he's going to put up 7 touchdowns.
Anger.
I mean, he seems like a pretty happy guy.
He is a really
Got
happy
his
guy.
life together. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. You're just negative.
You just had a bad week, man. It's
Yeah.
going to come off.
He also didn't have his studs. Jumpman against Snatchers. Snatchers coming off a rough loss.
Shut up,
The
Vince.
fun boys.
We had 5 guys.
You were 6.
Well, one guy was injured because of you.
So
Anyhow.
Snatcher are playing against who it doesn't matter. I pick against them.
Really? Really? You pick against your own quarterback?
Yeah, absolutely. who are they playing against? Vince? Remind me?
Jumpman.
Jumpman?
Oh yeah, Jumpman's absolutely. They're gonna make too many adjustments. Simon Dagenet is not smart, so
Disagree. I think for once I'm going to pick my own team because I haven't the entire season yet. I think we're going to pull it off by less
This
than a
is the
score.
one for you? All right. Two
Well,
and
we
a
need it,
half
man.
Dans against Fun Boys.
I'm gonna go 2.5 Dans.
No way.
For all the reasons that you said that you because of the unpredictability, and it's just I think you're gonna have trouble dealing with the ridiculous gimmicky
See?
offense.
What? The only reason I would agree with you normally, but I played Fun Boys last week. Well,
Yeah, but you're
yesterday-
terrible.
No,
Joey
but
Taylor's a good
it's not-
quarterback.
It's not what I mean.
You're not.
What I'm saying is like the way it works. I saw these guys jump routes. Like I was calling drags underneath, which 2.5 Dans runs constantly, and they adjusted really well. And Phil Cutler made my receivers look like bitches. So I believe he's gonna
You're doing
make the
fat cat
Dans look
stitches.
like bitches.
Yeah.
So I picked Fun Boys because they adjust better and they're gonna pick it up off the fly.
From Dans to Bitches. Thank you for your picks.
Final thoughts, Simon.
Eagle can count down from 5.
Vince Ardone, final thoughts.
None.
He doesn't think.
He doesn't care.
It's not his strong
He's like,
suit.
shut up, I'm done.
Absolutely. This week I will be going for 1. I'm going for 2 segment. As of next week, we're going to start to break down the playoffs. We're going to have the grid set up. We're going to let everyone know week in, week out where the teams lie and how the tiebreakers fall out, as well as the upcoming games. So we'll be focusing more on the teams making the playoff run. I wanted to basically thank everyone so far, all the teams still
You're
tuning
welcome.
in. I want to thank you, Simo.
You're welcome.
I want to thank you for looking terrible against Fun Boys because it made for a lot of fun jokes during this
Bro, 2
podcast.
pick 6, man.
I know, it doesn't really help. You know who's thanking you also? Fun Boys thanking you for padding their stats.
Not really. No, they were 2 nice guys. Like honestly, it looked like they were having fun somehow.
I want
Well,
to
we're the Fun Boys.
I want to thank Vince Nardone stepping in for Jim Calethris, who's a normal producer, and I want to thank Eagle for all the wonderful work he's done. And more importantly, I want to thank you all for letting me be myself.
Ciao.